In the previous episode, we finally connected this lower level to the upper level with this monster of a support system before adding this neat little elevator system that we can ride up and down when we need it. And in today's episode, we will be automating these two blocks, sand and clay, by adding some factories into some of the empty spaces we have all over the base. But before we jump into the meat of this episode, there is something I would like to mention and discuss, and for that we need to head on all the way over here, and it's this space over here. Well, to be fair, it's this space, that space, and the space on the other side of that area, because you see, I was planning on releasing the episode containing that project, but that project turned out to be way bigger than I thought, like a lot bigger. So it's not going to be in this episode, and instead of having that normal episode, I am just going to release a short episode. So it's not going to be a very long episode. It's mainly just going to be us putting down some create contraptions, making sure we're turning cobble into gravel, gravel into sand, sand into clay. Got that? So let's get right into it. So we're over here in our little storage room area, and I know I still haven't made it look any bit better than it did initially in the very start, and we will get to it. I promise we will. But the reason we're over here is because we're gonna have to get started on sand. So we do have the gravel that we can crush down into sand, and we are getting some sand from the crushing of the limestone. So we have the basics of it, but we really need to look at expanding this before we can expand into the whole clay system, because not only can we turn the sand into clay, because we can also turn it into bricks and terracotta and all those other things. So it's very important for us to get the sand done first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with increasing the storage capacity of the gravel, so we start to store a really large amount of that, and then after we've done that, we can come and build our little crushing system. And I think I'm going to add it right over here, so we'll have maybe 4 crushing wheels over here or 2 crushing wheels over here, crushing down gravel into sand, which we can then send into the system over there. Okay, so I've got a little emerald upgrade. I have some emeralds, so I crafted one, and we're going to replace the gravel with that, but we can't just take them out because it's already reached max capacity. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the upgrade over there, and then we can switch out that one, and we can remove those 3. So now we've got 1 emerald upgrade in here, and that will be enough for 124,000 stacks of gravel, which, if my math is correctly, that's more or less 65,000 pieces of gravel. So not bad. That's a good start to the system. So first things first, crafting gravel into sand, and we need to do that via crushing, and I'm thinking we should maybe do the crushing wheels in this general area. We can do it in the center, but I almost feel like if we do it on the sides, we have more space. But again, if we do it in the center, we could potentially hide the gearboxes, which will anyway be there and there, I guess, or there and there. I mean, we can always lift those up. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but yeah, maybe we should do it in the center. So if we go on over here and let's just find center is this one, and we do this and this, these are just temporary little blocks, and then we'll have that and that on top of that, and then from here we just need to put the items into the system. And to do that, we can always do, let's rip out these 2 real quick, because in actual fact we're going to have 2 of each, like that. Yeah, that's perfect. And what we want to do is we basically want to take the items and put it into a system, and instead of using 2 drawers here, we can also go ahead and do this. That can work. And now what we need to do is we need to then have a drawer slave right over there, because that's where the items are going to go in. And then we need to, I wonder what's going to be the easiest. Maybe putting the items into a small vault. Yeah, that might be the best. So we have the items in a small vault, and then from the small vault, it gets sent into the system. Okay, that's not really what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this. Like so. It looks like a robot. It really does look like a robot. I like him. But that's the thing. So now we can actually have a vault on top of this system over here. on top of these chutes. So then from this vault, it will take the sand, well, the gravel, and put it into the system. It will crush it down to sand and clay and whatever, and that needs to get transported over to the storage, but also to the area where we're going to turn it into clay. Now my only question is, if we go up here, where are we going to end up? So I'm going to rip out these two for now. Right underneath, that's not bad. That's not bad. That one we can use. But now the problem is these ones. We can use that and that. And in those two we can put boards on. So now what we can do is we can do this one like so. And then we can put a smart chute over here. Oh, it's not going to work. It's too tight. So I revisited the whole idea, and we're actually just going to drop everything down by one block. So we're going to put it right over there. Going to rip that out. We're also going to rip this one out. We got it. And then we're going to place it down there, I do believe. Shoot. Yeah, right there. We do shoot like that. And that will be picking up those items, putting it into the system. And we're going to rip out this block. And we're going to do, no, we're going to do one right over there and 2 additional crushing wheels. Now we just need to add a little barrier in front here so we don't have people running in and getting inside of it. But that should work for this system. Now right over there we're going to do shoot again, because those will take the items from the vault that we're going to have on top and we'll put it into the crushing wheel system. So now it's double vault, and we're just going to do a draw slave over there, do a smart chute right over there, and that should be it. That should be everything we need. So now we can have the items get put into the system. We can also have them get taken out of the system and get sent over to the storage area. So now what we need to do is we need to run on over here. We need to grab a piece of gravel like so, and we're going to add that to the filter. So that's constantly going to put gravel into the system. And then the only thing we need to do now is, oh, it's filled up already, is just connect all of this up to power and also to the remainder of the system, which I'm quickly going to do off camera. Believe it or not, there was a whole lot of unnecessary troubleshooting with this contraption. For some reason, I pulled power directly from a different line that was running at max speed, and, well, the crushers just started chucking out the blocks in all random directions, so it resulted in me having to add that second little rotational speed control up in the corner, and I know it doesn't look really great at the moment, and then pushing the power into the system at a lower rate, and it seems to be working. If we were to add our chutes over there and over there, items are getting picked up, but why are they not getting sent to the system? That is connected. If we rip out, oh, I know what's wrong. We never connected the bottom area. If we run on down all the way over here at the back of this system, right over here, we still need to add the trims. So I'm quickly going to grab some trims. So if we place the last one right over there, all that's connected. So it's picking up all the other items. So in theory, this whole system should work. There might be one little backlog if we look at the system. Yeah, you see clay balls. Clay balls do not have a drawer where they can go, thus resulting in them clogging the system. So if we were to make a quick little drawer, let's just grab out of all of this out of our inventory, and let's just do a single chest, and we're just going to turn it into a drawer like this, and we plonk that down. We chuck in some clay balls. We need to lock it, so grab our 2 keys, so we quantify and lock it. And now if we pick it up and we put it on top of this, yeah, there we go, it's picking up, but more so the sand is also picking up, because the clay balls, we every now and then get some from crushing gravel into sand. We will get the occasional clay ball and it will fill a drawer. But that's it. That's it for the sand part of it. So I know it doesn't look like much. We will decorate it as soon as we decorate this, I guess. But now we're getting all the sand we're going to need. We're going to slowly start getting clay balls as well. And as soon as we set up a washing system to wash some of the sand into clay balls, we will be able to compact them into clay blocks itself. So I think the next thing we need to do is work on a washing system. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the washing system to this area up here. So if we run up here, open this garage door, we've got baking and cooking and whatever on this side, but we can easily fit exactly the same system on this side to wash items. So I'm not going to build that on camera. I'm just going to quickly put it in and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, and this should be the entire system set up. It's, again, not decorated yet, but also it's not working because we haven't connected a trim. So if we were to do this, now the input is connected via trims, and I moved it around like this because I didn't want it running up right next to the window. Same with this, we've got this chute going in that side and that way. If it has to, we'll add a secondary one on top, but for now it's working. It's working. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. I remembered we can't put it in the middle because we wanted to split evenly, but for now it's working perfectly. Now the next steps, we just need to do this. Now this should connect up. Yeah, we should get some sand, and we need to change this needs to be 16. That's not going to work because we did the wrong thing. It's going to work, but it's going to take a whole lot longer to transform it. So what you know what I'm going to do, I'm just going to rip it all up, pick it all up, put it in there, and we'll just see. Now it's going to do 16 at a time, and there it turns into the required amount of clay balls. I just want to see, yeah, we made them 16. I just want to confirm that. So now every now and then the 16 clay balls will go into the chute over here. And if we head on down here real quick, whoops, into this area, we'll see that even the clay balls are picking up. So we've got now all the clay balls, we've got all the sand, and the next step is just to compact that into clay blocks. Okay, so you've noticed the system's already turned on, and that means we've already filled up on clay balls, and it's time we turn those clay balls into clay blocks. And that's where this space comes in hand. We're going to put a little compacting system on the side. But like we've learned previously, one is not fast enough, so we're going to have to do two systems like that with some cogs in the middle powering it all. Because we're not using a fluid, we can get rid of that, and we can compact it by a total of 2 blocks, making it 3 blocks wide. So if we have the collection over here, maybe 1, 2, 3, and then collection again, that's a bit in the door. So what I was thinking is we can maybe rip out this block, replace that with another slave block, and then we can have the other collection on the side right over here. So then it lines up with that one, and it doesn't really line up with that one, but that's not a problem. And then over here and over here we'll do 2 depots, which I don't believe I have at the moment, but we'll have a look just now. And then we do basin on this side. Again, we're going to do a chute on top of either of these because we're going to use that to feed into the system. And then we're just going to do a press and a press over there. And that should be it. That should be it for compacting clay blocks. The only thing we need to do is we need to add input into it, and we're also going to do the same as what we did over there. We're just going to click like that, and another one like this, and then we can have 2 smart chutes on top of those. And then if we rip out those, maybe they might fall into these systems. Yeah, see, we've got andesite slabs in there. But now we can add a draw controller right over there, one over there, a smart chute right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just first going to rip that one out, because if we don't do that, we're going to have items flow into it. But again, we've got 2 smart chutes like that, and now we just need to put a clay ball filter on each of those. And I don't think we need to set the amount we let into the system. It's not really a problem. So let me quickly go grab the clay balls. Okay, now we can do filter. If we were to add the draw slave over here, we'll already see items filter into this one. There we go, 16 clay balls. That one has nothing yet because we need one final trim over there. And then also we need to connect these 2 up. Plus power, just one single source of power, and I'm wondering what will be the easiest way to get power across. I guess we can do a cog over there and run a chain drive across the roof, because I don't really know what the power is like underneath here. Let's fall down. Well, I guess this can get ripped out because we're not using this anymore. And it stands to reckon we can do that. I don't really know at what speed does this turn. 16. But I think the 16 is for the power of the washers. Yeah, we might get away with just adding a little chain drive over here. It's gonna... that's a problem. No, okay. You know what? We'll do it upstairs. I'm gonna go sort out the power and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, I feel like this is extreme makeover. So I'm gonna open this door and we're gonna see our brand new factory. So we've managed to fit it in. I still need to decorate it and make it look like something. But if we were to place this block right over there... Well, it works. It's not supposed to be facing that way. Let's fix that. Okay, it still works. We're getting clay blocks being made, and they're going from there directly into the system. So if we head on down here again, boom, and we make our way over, we can hear that's going. We can see sand coming in, we can see clay blocks coming in, and we can see clay balls being used. So that's working as well. So I'm pretty excited about all of this and the fact that it's working. Granted, it does not look like much at the moment. It's kind of ugly. So we're going to have to fix that up. But I think we've achieved what I wanted to achieve in this little micro episode. That is the automation of sand, the production of clay balls and clay blocks, which then in turn later on can become bricks and terracotta, which then becomes, well, the glazed parts, the normal terracotta, the colored terracotta, and all those type of things. So I think that's a great success. And what I do think I need to do now is just maybe spend the next hour and an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, just decorating everything, making it all look a lot better, and I'll bring you guys back once all of that's done. So it might have been more than 1 hour, but we're finally done, and the reason why it took so long is because I did the storage. I finally fixed the storage. So if we head on over here, this is the new area. So I made a little safety barrier around this thing. I added a few girders. I tried to support the trim so they'd look a little bit more in place than out of place, and just added a bunch of details on the walls like furnaces and stuff like that, some more supports, closed up some of the stuff you saw at the top, and then added a few barrels and storage and a plant and the storage wall. All the drawers are appropriate drawers now. They can use the threshold switch to then turn on and off whenever we need to. I went ahead and upgraded a bunch of the barrels so they've got bigger upgrades in them. They're currently not running because I did manually pause the cobble generator because it has that weird outline glow effect on items because it's warns you too much items on the ground, which I need to turn off again. And then we've got a bunch of drawers over here already filled. We've got one empty one, and I just used barrels as placeholders for where we can add any additional drawers to this area. So in general, I do like it. I think I like this quite a lot. And if we head on to the top part real quick, you'll notice not a lot has changed. I did add a few decorations every now and then, moved a bit of barriers and things like that. Also, I changed up that to be a filter, and it allows clay through it as well as sand, because for some reason, see, that one is 64 and 64 and 64 and 16. So I don't know if it's maybe falling out too fast, because that one's 48 and 64. It clumps up again. So I need to figure out what the problem is. So some of them change into clay, but some of them don't. And the ones that don't change gets picked up by the system again and just recycled. So that's the reason for the filter. So it still produces clay balls, just not sure why it's doing what it's doing. And then this seems to be standing still. Oh, there we go. Okay. So there's also still creating clay balls and everything. This is creating deep slate, and all of that's happening because we added a bunch of upgrades to these drawers. So now in theory, all of these should have at least 16,000 in them once they're completed or once they're filled up, like that one. And well, that's about it. And these ones are also full again and turned off. So it's all working out for the best. It's going to take quite a while to get it filled up, but I'm not too rushed. I'm just happy we got all of this automated. But that's sadly going to be it for today's episode. Like mentioned, I really wanted to do that project that's right there behind my head, all the way up there. but it's proving to be quite a big project, and it might only be a buildy episode next episode. So I'm happy I did what I did. I'm happy we had some form of episode, even though it was just a create episode. It will counter next week's building episode. But till next time, take care, and do remember to smash that subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, and also leave a like, comment, and let me know what you think of the 2 new farms. Till next time, bye for now.